Delicious.
Wow, them were days. I haven't heard that for a long time.
You're listening to Jonesy's Jukebox on KLOS. That was Queen, Doing All Right. And sitting next to me is the bloke who played all the guitar on it. You know what's great about that album? I know it stuck in my head. No synthesizers.
Yeah. It came about because people said, "Oh, it's very good. It's good arrangements and stuff," but it's all done by synthesizers. And we thought, no, we better just tell people we don't do synthesizers, because in those days we didn't.
Yeah.
It was just guitars and voices, very raw and raw materials or whatever. Yeah.
Did that take long? Was that your first record? Did you have another band before that? I don't know.
Yeah, I was in bands at school. I was in a band called 1984, which in those days was way ahead. 1984 was the title of a futuristic science fiction novel. Mm-hmm. And 1984 seems like impossibly in the distance in those days. It's way, way in the past now. But yeah, I was in a band called 1984, and then a band called Smile with Roger, who became, that's how I met Roger. I advertised on a college notice board, and Roger answered the advert. I said, I want a drummer who can do everything that Ginger Baker and Mitch Mitchell can do, and Keith Moon. And he answered and said, yeah, I can do that.
And he, not bad looking bloke as well.
He's very good, yeah. He's very attractive to women, apparently.
Oh, man. It's Brian May if you're just tuning in. From
and
Queen.
I get to sit with Steve Jones.
The best was when you saw me in the parking lot.
I had no idea who you were.
You thought I was
and then
you
suddenly
thought I was a guy who's like showing you where to go.
Yeah.
Which I was. That was hilarious.
I'm also half asleep because I'm jet lagged a million ways and don't know where I am. But yeah, I'm thrilled to be sitting here with you. We were just talking about early days of you making Nevermind the Bollocks and us making News of the World in the same studio, Wessex in North London.
Yeah.
And you made an album which changed the world, and I think we did as well. And here we both are. I'm thrilled. I'm really happy that we get the chance to sit here and talk.
So you had no idea you were going to come on Jonesy's Jukebox, the guitarist of the Sex Pistols show.
The truth is, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I just go where they point me and stuff like this.
Yeah.
We booked 2 days promotion, and I saw Jonesy, and I didn't know it was you. No.
Yeah.
So this is a genuine surprise.
Nice surprise.
A very, very nice surprise.
I'm flattered. I'm flattered you're surprised and nicely surprised.
I'm thrilled. Absolutely. We can talk about Sex Pistols all the time. I don't care. We don't need to talk about my book.
I'll tell you what I do want to know, though, is there's one song on there. Is it Sheer Heart Attack? That sounds very punk influenced.
This is Roger's track, and he was. Yeah, Roger was the one guy in the band who was aware of what's going on around him, very aware, very aware of fashions and sort of trends in music and stuff. But he had that track for quite a while, the Sheer Heart Attack track he'd had in his head, and he went, I want this on the album because, things are going the punk way and everything, and I want this is my punk track or whatever.
And you thought, well, what is this nonsense?
I thought, what is this racket? Yeah. Yeah, well, Roger and me are famously never in agreement about anything, and I was not in that frame at all, because in my mind, I think we were punks anyway from the beginning.
Yeah.
In my strange, deranged brain. But Roger was, and still is, he's the guy who's aware of trends. He was aware of David Bowie long before any of us knew who he was, and he went to a David Bowie show, and I remember him saying, he was amazing, he got the audience all with him, and then they carried him off on their shoulders and everything. And we went, oh, really? And he was that was the Man Who Sold the World album.
Yeah.
And Roger,
when he had long hair? Or did he have the
and
spiky?
women's dresses,
Yeah.
Yeah, which was kind of unusual in those days.
It wasn't my cup of tea, to be honest with you. Only when he got,
Yeah, I didn't get it
Ziggy
until Roger
Stardust.
kind of put it in front of me, and then I thought, oh, yeah, actually, this... And of course, they had Mick Ronson, who was a really, really fine player.
Man,
yeah, what a lovely player he was. And of course, they were around Trident Studios where we were recording most of the time, so I used to bump into Mick Ronson late at night over cups of coffee and...
Sweet guy.
Fantastic guy, and what a lovely, beautiful player.
And a great arranger.
He was really good, yeah. He did all those string arrangements for Starman and Ziggy Stardust.
Transformer, Lou Reed.
Yeah.
Transformer.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Sad loss. He played with us at our Freddie tribute concert.
Yeah.
Along with David.
Yeah.
We did Heroes. Yeah, all long gone. I can't believe I'm saying that. They're all bloody long gone.
A lot of people, that's the one thing I realise when you get older, how many people die if you stick around.
I remember seeing an interview with some 80-year-old guy years and years ago, and then somebody said, what is it like to be 80? He said, it's kind of good to be alive, but most of your friends have gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just passed the 70 mark, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't feel like 70 years old. I feel like a boy. I feel like sort of 35 at the most. But it's odd. Suddenly people see you in a different way, and you're still sort of young and nervous inside. Peculiar, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're not as old as me. You're just a boy yourself.
62 next month.
Oh, well, you're coming on. You're getting there.
You just had a birthday, right? July?
Yeah, and it's 70 years and 10, which is the sort of nominal lifespan of a human being. So I'm feeling like everything from now on is a bonus. My dad died at 66. So I'm thinking, okay, what is really worthwhile to do now? I mean, this is worthwhile. I'm sitting talking to you. But what in the world is, what should we spend our time doing in the remaining time we have, Steve?
My big thing that I like to do is be in nature in my old age. I like to be around nature.
Great.
And helping others, I suppose.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good, yeah, to sort of understand your place in the universe. I like that too. That's why I think eclipses really engage me so much, because in that moment of totality, you have to do one. In that moment where the sun is eclipsed, like it was 2 minutes, 40 seconds this time, you're looking from this rock that we live on, called planet Earth, into the center of the solar system, and you can see the sun's family of planets. It's the only time you can ever do that. And you suddenly get this feeling of, okay, I understand where I am in this solar system, in this tiny little family called the solar system, which is a tiny speck in the local galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, which is in turn a tiny speck in the universe. And I think it's good to have that feeling and understand how small we are, and wonder why we think we're so important.
That's the big thing.
Maybe we are, I don't know.
And we really think we're in control, but really there's no control.
That's right. And think we have dominion over every creature on this planet, which by rights I don't think we should. To me, every creature on this planet has an equal right to have a good life. We shouldn't be abusing animals. That's one of my big things. I think we got it all wrong. We weren't put here to be users and abusers of all the other creatures on this planet. We were here to do good stuff.
You're a vegan?
I wish I was a vegan. No, I'm a vegetarian, and I haven't managed to make the journey to being vegan yet. A lot of my friends are, and I eat a lot of vegan food, but I can't call myself a vegan.
You like a bit of goat cheese?
Yeah, I like cheese, but I don't like the process by which it's obtained. Yeah, cheese is a hard one, because vegan cheese is really, really not desirable.
Well, most of it's soy, which is not great.
Yeah, I'm not a big soy fan,
They give you knockers, soy.
Gives you knockers in your knockers? Sorry, we're being English here.
It's okay. I think everyone gets it. But I've been off the meat for a while. I'm trying to go that way.
Fantastic.
I do have a weakness for a bit of goat cheese.
Yeah, I have a weakness for cheese. It's hard to give up. But I've spent a lot of my time around dairy farmers in England, because I'm involved in trying to save the badger from persecution. Legalised persecution, because it's blamed for bovine TB. And, it's a big, big subject, but our contention is that the badgers are not a vector. They're not the reason. They're a result of bovine TB in cows. TB.
What do you mean, badgers are giving cows some diseases?
This is the legend. Yeah, this is why they're being persecuted, and they're being culled by the government. But actually, all the research seems to show that badgers get TB from cows, but probably not much the other way around. So killing badgers isn't going to help the situation, but it's a thing that's been offered to farmers as a solution. And it's become very political, and farmers are actually afraid to speak out, even if they do understand that badgers are not the cause of their problems. So, but I'm saying, I've seen a lot of farmers, I've seen a lot of dairy farms, and there are some very good dairy farmers, but I don't think we should be doing it. I really don't. We're not designed to drink the milk of a cow. Why should we be? And there's an awful lot of stuff in it which is not good for us.
Do you remember the commercials when you were a kid? Milk's good for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was based on no scientific evidence whatsoever. Milk's supposed to be great for your bones and all this stuff. It's essential.
Strong bones.
Yeah, all this is propaganda. We all swallowed it, but it's probably not the case. So drinking almond milk is probably a whole lot better for you, and it's in the end better for the environment too, and it's better from the point of view of animal cruelty. So yeah, we should all be vegan. We damn well should be.
Where do you think it all started then? Back in the Stone Age, when all you had was animals to eat?
I think it's okay, on a small scale. And I think in the old days there was a kind of contract between men and animals. You look after the animal, you feed it, you protect it, and in the end you eat it. It's a kind of
like Indians,
it's a trade,
with
like
buffalo.
the Indians do, exactly, yeah. But when it becomes like mass-producing animals and giving them terrible conditions to live in, and slaughtering them in hideous ways, boy, we went way off the track. And we eat billions of animals that have been abused per year now, and I think...
And the karma is it makes you sick.
It does,
Makes people sick.
Yeah, because you're eating animals that had a bad life, were fed the wrong stuff, and had stress in their lives, and it's not good for us. I think that's the origin of so much of our illness. So I was saying to someone today, the world is all about money, which to me is all wrong, but strangely enough, what is going to happen is money will lead us to the right path in the end, because soon it will be cheaper to make a steak that tastes like steak and is much better for you than it is to breed a cow and kill it and eat it. So as soon as the alternatives to meat are cheaper, then it's game over. Nobody will be going to the trouble of breeding animals, and dealing with their sicknesses and slaughtering them and all this. It's an incredibly inefficient process, and the milk as well. They will be just eating the food that's been made in a much cheaper and more efficient way, which will be much better for us because it won't have all the growth hormones, it won't have antibiotics in it, etc., etc.
Even though there's 8 billion people in the world.
Yeah, it'll be cheaper and more efficient to feed them non-animal diets. Yeah, it will be, and quite soon, I think. There's already some people who are making substitute meat, which people prefer to the real thing. I mean, I certainly do. I'd give me a veggie burger any day. I hate to think what's in. I wouldn't dream of eating a hamburger. Not if you paid me these days.
What about fish?
I eat a little bit of fish occasionally, but I don't feel good about it. And when you see videos of the way they're caught and the way they're just putting in their millions, struggling into some horrible cage, to be slaughtered, to be crushed to death. I don't feel good about it.
Yeah.
So I try and not do it. It's a while though. I think we're all on a path. You're saying it's a while since you ate meat. For me too, it's many years since I ate a mammal. But I don't feel good about eating fish anymore. And occasionally I'll do it, and then I'll think, nah, I'm not going to do that again for a while.
So is it a moral thing more than the actual physical?
It's a moral thing, but I'm sure that I'm healthier for not eating meat. Absolutely sure.
Yeah. No, I did vegan for 4 years, and I went a bit nuts, to be honest with you. Do you think it agrees with everybody? Some body types or genetic makeup?
I really don't know. I think it depends what you eat, of course. It depends on what diet you have. I just want to talk about your riffs, though, Rini.
Yeah.
So this God Save the Queen riff, where'd that come from?
Oh,
See, that's your riff, isn't it? That ain't Johnny Rotten's riff. That's your riff.
Johnny didn't write any music.
It
was me and Glenn Matlock that came up with all the music.
Right, but he did lyrics.
Johnny wrote all the words.
Yeah, well, good. So good combination, really good. Yeah, but the riff, where'd that riff come from?
I don't know. where did any of them come from?
I don't know. They come from the sky, don't they? Someplace, and you have to catch them.
I was very, very. At the time, I mean, I literally only been. I'm so bored telling this story, but I want to tell you, I'd only been playing guitar 3 months before we did our first show. I was kind of singing at the beginning. I didn't get it. This was before we got John. Then Malcolm McLaren says, "You don't need to sing," and I agreed. We did one gig at Salter's Cafe down Kings Road. Did you ever go to that place?
I've been, yeah.
And it was horrible. I couldn't stand it. I threw up, and I was just not the front guy, and realised that. And then we got rid of the guitar player that we have. I got slung onto guitar, and we auditioned for a singer, and that's where John came about.
John Lydon turned up.
Yeah.
The young, charming John Lydon.
Yeah, and so we started rehearsing for about 3 months, and then our first gig was at St Martin's College. And then by the time we did our first gig, it was about 6 months, 9 months before we actually went in and started doing
recording.
Yeah,
with
Chris Thomas.
But it wasn't with Chris in the beginning, was it? Didn't he take over the album? Because somebody else did.
We had the sound guy he was attempting to do the record, but he was off his head. It went to his head. He was smoking so much weed, and it was just like, he's like, do it one more time, the track, Anarchy, you know. And we must have done it 100 times. We had it in the second take, but this guy, so we like, this ain't working. We need to get rid of you. And that's when we got Chris Thomas.
Who was great. I mean, Chris Thomas is what you needed, wasn't he?
He was the best.
He's great.
For me, I didn't have much experience, but he had such a great vibe, and I was willing to do. And he spent a lot of time with guitars, putting little overdubs here, little always doubling.
He also had the vision to see that you were important. You know, that you had music that needed to be heard. There's a lot of. I mean, EMI would drop in you, isn't that right? It's due to pressure from advertisers or something. There's all that going on, wasn't there?
Well, the story I heard that you guys were meant to go on the Today Show. You cancelled.
That's the story I heard. I don't know if it's true, but it's a good story.
It's a good story, so we keep telling it.
Yeah. And you guys went on and caused a huge storm because Johnny Rotten was horrendously and brilliantly rude to the interviewer. What was his name? We've all forgotten.
Bill Grundy.
Was he? Yeah, who was a...
Yeah. I was the one who actually swore there.
Were you really?
Well, the most of it. The bulk of it.
He was being an arse, wasn't he, really?
Yeah. He asked for it.
He deserved it.
You get it?
Totally. Yeah.
He asked for
I've seen
it.
the clip.
Kaboom. Yeah, he was not a good guy. But you built your own guitar, right?
I did, with my dad, yeah.
And is it the same guitar you use now, or you built a couple of them?
It's the same one.
And you never wanted to sell them?
No, it's the only one. No, we just built the one. No, I couldn't sell it. It's part of me.
No, I mean manufacture.
Oh, yeah, no, we do make them.
Okay.
Yeah, we make them to sell now. Brian May Guitars, yeah. It took a long time. I had a deal with an American company, and I'm ashamed to say I've forgotten the name of it. It's Guild Guitars. And they were made on the East Coast for a while, sort of copies of my guitar. But we slightly fell out over a long period because they started doing modifications which I hadn't seen and didn't like. But they're great, you know, they're good company. But then I had them made by Burns in England, English guitar company.
Yeah, the old 60s. Yeah. Everyone had Burns in the 60s, right?
Yeah, and then I discovered they were getting them made in China, and I thought, well, I could get them made in China. Why don't I just do this?
Yeah.
And so I started this little company along with Barry, who used to run the Bass Centre in London, and we started this little company called Brian May Guitars, and now we make them. I mean, we're not Gibson or Fender, but we sell a few thousand here and there.
What's the company
to kids.
name?
It's called Brian May Guitars.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of them because they're not too expensive, and they're something that a kid can pick up and get a noise out of, the same as I wanted. And I couldn't afford them when I was a kid. But it's a decent guitar. It's got a good trem. It's got a good fingerboard, and it's got my switching arrangement, which I invented along with my dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, we sell them.
And what wood is your one made out of?
My one is made out of mahogany neck, which is a piece of a 100-year-old fireplace at the time, so it'll soon be 200 years old. And the body is a bit of a table, bits of blockboard and stuff. It's all bits and pieces that were lying around in my dad's workshop. Yeah. So it's a totally homemade guitar.
That's amazing.
It still works.
Do you have a bunch of other guitars?
I have a lot now, yeah. I have some copies. But, most nights we play a 2.5-hour show or whatever, and 90% of that time I'm playing that guitar.
Same one?
Same one.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's like a part of me. It is. It's an extension of my arm.
Yeah. The baby's arm.
Yeah. And I remember when I first came to the States, my friend John Tiven, who was a writer for Rolling Stone in those days, he's a producer now. He's an Emmy-winning, award-winning blues producer, but he said, don't bring that guitar to the States. Don't do it. He said, it'll get stolen. I said, I can't come without it. Yeah. How can I do that?
Yeah.
So it's been with me all those years, all those times around the world. It's the same guitar.
I noticed that I looked at your Instagram that a few people like having pictures taken with it.
Yeah, the guitar's more famous than me to most people, to guitar geeks.
So listen, tonight you got a book signing.
I have indeed, at what I call Duck Soup, but it's actually called Book Soup.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I've been there before. It's a brilliant shop. It's a brilliant bookstore. So I'll be sitting there signing for my sins, and meeting people, shaking hands.
Queen in 3D.
Queen in 3D, which is the book which we're sitting in front of here. I wish it was TV because I could show you what it is, but this is a book which has 3D pictures in it, and it has a 3D viewer to go with it. and it's the viewer which I didn't invent 3D, but I invented this particular viewer. It's a 19th century stereoscope. That's what it is. You've seen it work? Yeah, we've been playing with it.
Yeah.
I just took a picture of Steve, which he hasn't seen yet in 3D, and I did it in about, how long did it take me to do that?
2 seconds.
2 seconds. And he's going to see this picture for the first time right now. I hope, if it's still in there. Wait a minute. Where is it?
Oh, he's lost it.
Yeah, see, I turned the phone off before I saved it. Wait a minute.
Oh,
do you know what? I'm going to do it again.
You know what? That's the good thing. I'm right here. We can take it
Let's
again.
do this live on the radio. I'm going to take a 3D picture of Steve Jones, and he's going to look very relaxed, and he looks kind of hard though. One. Oh no!
Oh dear.
Oh, that's all right. It took a long time for some reason.
Is it
okay,
broken?
There's the two pictures of you which are sort of superimposed on each other. I press this button here, and there we have the two pictures side by side. And I can put it in this Owl VR kit, come stereoscope, and you can see yourself in 3D. It's bloody good, actually. It's very good. Have a look at that.
It's bleeding good.
Good. That's high praise.
So now what happens to it?
Now you can save it to your camera roll like this. So
is this something you came up with? You invented this?
I invented this stereoscope. A friend of mine invented this 3D camera app, which you can use with it. And that's all you need. You just need the Owl with the magnetic back here. It's called an Owl VR kit. We'll be selling them tonight at the signing.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock at Duck Soup.
At Duck Soup. On
It's Book Soup.
You'd already said it. On Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Let's play some music and we'll
Hollywood.
come back and pick your brain a little bit longer. What we got?
Keep Yourself Alive.
Oh.
Keep Yourself Alive from the first album. Take it away. Jonesy's Jukebox on KLOS with my guest Brian May.
How interesting is that? Those two tracks made in the same building almost at the same time.
Yeah.
Interesting. And that's Roger. That's Roger's track, and Roger was very aware of the punk revolution that was going on and sort of wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But that's a song he'd had for a while, I know. But that's actually Roger playing the guitar on that, as I was telling Steve a lot of the time. Not the lead stuff, but the rhythm stuff is Roger. And Roger's very punky, and he still is, really.
Yeah.
He always was.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and there's all that, it's funny that we were in the same part of the world doing that stuff.
Yeah. It is bizarre.
Yeah. And here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I said it to you off microphone, but to me, the Mind the Bollocks album is a great album. Really, pure music, apart from all the social arguments that you might have, whatever, and the Malcolm McLaren stuff, it's a great album. It's a great rock album.
Yeah.
And the sounds are great, production's great, songs are great. Cool.
Yep. That's that.
I need you to be playing, Steve. We need you to be playing.
No one cares. I like playing
You
music
reckon?
on the radio, yeah.
Yeah, come on. You must get the urge now and again, pick up that guitar.
Oh, I do. And I'm better than I used to be as well. I've learned. I think I was a natural meant to be playing guitar. I mean, I'm not a wizard like you. You can play fast stuff and all that.
I'm not a virtuoso, really. I just play how I feel, really. But I like to play. I like it to be a voice to me. The guitar is a voice to me.
Melody.
Yeah.
In the leads.
But also power. I just like the feel of it. We all do. I mean, listen, your guitar on that is amazing.
It's an extension of our knobs.
Possibly like a red E-type. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, look, we've got the book out of its cover now.
Yes.
We've got the Queen in 3D book out, and we folded up the stereoscope, so we're ready to look at some 3D pictures.
And it comes with
your Owl stereoscope, and with the stereoscope, you can position it over these pairs of photos, and really it's like a time machine. It's like you're walking in through a window, and you can see Freddie there as if he was alive and breathing, and it's like you could talk to him, really. Tell me if that's real. Does that focus for you?
No.
Don't forget you can focus by pulling it up and down.
I'm still seeing two of him. So
Okay, just relax.
Not right then.
Yeah, it's a state of mind. Just focus it first, by moving this up and down. And then just look through it like you're looking to infinity, like you're looking through binoculars. Don't look close. And it'll all swim into glorious 3D.
There we go. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hey, I got a wow. See, this is all about wow. People who see people don't see Victorian proper stereoscopy very often these days in the 21st century. But when they do, everyone goes, wow, I didn't know it could happen that way.
Who's the bloke over here?
That's Paul Prenter, who was Freddie's personal assistant at the time, who will feature heavily in the film which is about to be made about Freddie and us, which everyone wants to talk about, but we're not talking about it today. We're talking about the book.
It actually looks like, he looks like, he doesn't look like a picture.
He looks real, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he looks
it's
like
bizarre.
solid, and like he would get up.
So you can only do that with these photos, not the big one like that.
Well, this is a blow-up of that photo.
Yeah.
You can make a mono picture out of it and just put it flat on the page, and it's still nice. But
Is that on the Thames?
that is... No,
Is that in America?
Somewhere in Copenhagen or somewhere. I think that's Elsin or Hamlet's Castle. But this spans the whole history of Queen, right from the very beginnings, 1970-ish, and all the way through Japan, America, whatever, right up to the present day with the wonderful Adam Lambert. There's some nice stereo pictures of him as well.
It really is good.
And this is the VR array that we've made this...
I'm going to look at another picture. Hold on.
Oh, look at this one. That's a number of GoPros harnessed together to make a virtual reality camera.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Which we flew over the audience in Barcelona, and we made this virtual reality film, which we are calling VR the Champions. Like that?
It's good. Little twist to it.
And its director is here, sitting with me today. Yannicka.
How are you?
This is good.
So that's good. So have you been touring this for a little while, the book?
It was launched in Great Britain about 9 months ago, and I did a bit of a launch there, but it hasn't been properly on sale in this country until now, so we're doing a launch here. We sold a few of them on tour just as exclusives, but this is the sort of proper launch. I'm hoping that it'll capture people's imaginations.
It's pretty cool.
I'm glad you like it.
It's pretty cool.
Lots of backstage stuff, us in cars and planes and stuff, and also some on stage, because I obviously gave the camera to some of the local people.
Yeah.
But the fun stuff is in, us in the dressing rooms fooling about and doing stuff. Some of it I had no idea. Here's a picture of Freddie. This is one of my favourites. Freddie's taking a picture of me on his Polaroid camera, which he loved.
State of the art back then.
It was just amazing, to be able to take a picture and immediately see it. That was such a novelty in those days. And there he is taking a picture of me on his Polaroid, and I'm taking a 3D picture of him.
So you come up with this what do you call it?
Stereoscopy.
Yeah.
3D. Yeah, it's always been there. It was invented about the same time as photography, in the 1840s. It goes way, way back. That's about 150 or more years ago, and it's always been there, but it's never been fashionable except for very short periods. Even in the movies, there's a big fashion for 3D movies in the 1950s, House of Wax and stuff, and then it disappeared. And it came back in the 80s, and they did some terrible films in the 1980s, and then it came back proper with Avatar and all this stuff these days. But even now, it's like the fashion is waning, and people don't shoot films in 3D anymore. They convert them, which is not the same.
Yeah.
But James Cameron does it right. I'm looking forward to the next Avatar.
Are you a physicist?
I am a physicist, yeah, and an astronomer. Yeah, that's what I am.
So that's why you like the old eclipse?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got my doctorate 30 years after I started. It must be the longest PhD in history.
Better late than never.
Yeah, it's good.
Do you think there is life on other places? Aliens?
No, this is a big question. I think it's highly possible that there isn't, and that's not a normal view. There's not very many astronomers who would agree with me. But what sticks in my mind is there's a thing called the Drake equation. You heard of that? Which is like a stream. It's a number of terms multiplied together, which is supposed to be the probability of life existing on other planets. So it's like the probability of life evolving in the first place, multiplied by the probability of the planet being the right temperature, multiplied by the probability of it being the right distance from its sun or whatever. You multiply all these together, and you get the probability. Now, the trouble is nobody knows the value of most of the terms in that equation. So the big thing is, how probable is it that life can evolve spontaneously? And nobody knows that to this day. It could be like zero probability. If it's even a small probability, if you multiply it by the number of systems in the known universe, then there's going to be life out there for sure, because there are hundreds of billions of star systems out there, probably all with planets which might be suitable. But if the probability of life evolving is close enough to zero, we could be the only ones. It's possible, us on this planet, not just humans, of course, but all the rest of life.
Yeah.
Which, this wonderful planet of varied life that we live on. But I know that the gene research at the moment points to the fact that we all came from one event, and probably all mammals came from one event. Now, I don't know if the rest of creation did, but if you think about that, this means that probably it didn't happen. Maybe it didn't happen more than once. Maybe life just evolved. Plants as well. Maybe it all comes back to one event. How probable is that event? I don't know.
But then it evolved, though. Didn't things evolve?
Well, once it's there, it's evolving.
Yeah.
But there again, there's a big unknown, because an organism can't evolve until it can reproduce.
But it has to fit. It adapts to an environment.
Well, it adapts a certain amount in its lifetime, but to a very limited degree. What natural selection does is make sure that on aggregate the strongest characteristics survive. But that, as I say, that can only happen when things are reproducing. You have to have generations going on before these changes can take place. Now, a very primitive organic molecule cannot reproduce, so it can't evolve. So how does it happen? How do we get to that first organism that can reproduce itself and start adapting to its environment and developing arms and legs and eyes? I mean, even Einstein said, "Ooh." I think he said, "Ooh."
Ooh, ah.
When he used to wake up apparently having had nightmares about how an eye, something so complex as the eye, could evolve by natural selection. But I think most scientists think that it can now.
So what's your theory on where it all came from? Us, everything on the planet. Do you have a theory?
I think it was from one event. I think that's probably what happened, but I have no idea how that event happened. There's a great film called Allegro non troppo, which I recommend to anyone who's interested in this stuff. And it's kind of spoof. It's a send-up of that wonderful Disney film where everything happens. Oh, God, what's it called? Fantasia. Yeah, it's a send-up of Fantasia made by some Italians. And in Fantasia, life evolves from one little drop, I think, and you had that whole sequence with, I think it's Mussorgsky. And you get to dinosaurs, and then the dinosaurs die, and then it evolves. Well, they do a spoof of that, but in their version, it starts from one guy dropping a Coca-Cola bottle, and it all going mouldy inside, and life evolves from the Coca-Cola bottle. So I like that theory. So it's another species. It's an alien life form that gave birth to us, maybe. Do you know? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No one has any idea then.
No, I don't think so, and I don't think. I don't rule out the possibility of the existence of God. There are scientists who can tell you, who will sit here and say, "Oh, I can disprove the existence of God. I can prove that he doesn't exist." But I don't believe that. I don't think, by definition, science has anything to say about anything outside science.
I don't think as God as how you understand it. Like, what is, most people see God as a bloke who looks like Father Christmas who's up in the cloud, or it's the whole deal. That's my concept of God is the whole deal.
Yeah. Creation.
Yeah. Because it's a power bigger than me.
Yeah, the Great Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I certainly don't rule that out, because, science is very good at looking for patterns and relationships, and that's kind of what it does. It looks for a relation between something else. This happened, so this happened. But as to why things happen, science doesn't really have anything to say, I don't think. So if there's a Big Bang and we all come from one singularity, how did that singularity get there?
Yeah.
Nobody knows. It could be God, or it could maybe not be God. I have no idea. Yeah. You know what fascinates me, as soon as we're on this subject?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Is that we have we have an idea in our minds that we understand what the universe is now. We think it's this thing that's expanding, right?
Yeah.
It's, and it started from one point, and it's getting bigger all the time. But the thing is, we have no idea how big it is at any point.
Yeah.
So we have no way of measuring the size of the universe. We only know the size of the observable universe, which is a little bubble, because of the limited speed that light has. So we have no concept outside an observable universe. So people talk about, this is the number of galaxies in the universe.
Right.
It's not true. What they're talking about is this is the number of galaxies that we can see. This is the observable universe. But what's outside that? Nobody has the slightest clue. Is it the same outside as inside? Nobody knows.
Is it possible there's a wall, or does it just go on indefinite?
Seems like
Goes on.
Seems to me like it goes on forever. There's no evidence to suggest that if we go to the edge, we start at the Earth and we go to the edge of the observable universe, somewhere on that sphere.
Yeah.
There's no evidence to suggest that what we would see from that point would be any different from what we see here, in essence.
Yeah.
So perhaps it is infinite. Now, if it's infinite, there's an infinite number of yous and an infinite number of me's, by definition.
Mm.
So you're looking at, even without the concept of different universes, in our universe, maybe there's an infinite number of possibilities. So that makes you think, in which case there has to be life out there. Yeah. There has to be.
And what's your concept of when we die, when things die?
Well, that's another thing, isn't it?
Do you think there's that going to another place? I don't believe it myself. But you don't know. No one knows.
No, I don't have any evidence either way.
No one knows. That's the one thing all humans have in common.
We don't know.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of theories of, you go somewhere else. This is just a dress rehearsal, blah, blah, blah.
I think what we see in our lifetimes could be a very limited view of the universe. I think there could be a lot more, and there could be some place outside what we regard as existence. Yeah, I think it's possible. I hope so. Because it'd be nice to think there was some kind of end to it all.
I've been such a good person.
Get out of here!
Go back!
Bad.
You've been banished!
Any number of jokes about heaven and hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Wow, I think we've blown everyone's mind. That was great.
Have we? We've solved all the world's problems. In fact, all the universe's problems.
Yeah, we've sussed it all out.
It's all done now.
Now you can go home. Not you. Should we play some more music? What you got?
Mott the Hoople track. I love this one because we toured with Mott the Hoople. You saw us play in Hammersmith, that very first concert with Mott the Hoople in
Hammersmith
London.
Odeon. It was great. 72, 73 maybe.
Yeah, so we toured all around the UK with them, and then we toured all around the States with them, and they taught us how to be a rock band. They really did. They were the real deal.
Yeah.
They were kind of punks in their way. They were
totally
outrageous.
Funny. I think there was like a riot at the end of Hammersmith Odeon.
There was always a riot at the end of Mott concerts. So people would invade the stage and someone push
chairs
the
were being pulled out.
Yeah, they were outrageous, and they off stage as well. They were just funny and very anarchic and whatever. Anyway, I remember being somewhere at the back of the arena when Mott the Hoople played this track all the way from Memphis, in Memphis, and that's a memorable moment for me. I loved them. I just completely loved them, and I think Queen owes a lot to Mott the Hoople in the way of knowing how to be a band, how to be a.
They they thrived on being glamorous and rock and roll.
They lived the dream.
Yeah,
they did. Totally.
Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS, with my guest Brian May.